You know what? Like regardless, right? Regardless of how the season plays out, the rest of the way, you should got the Steelers victory, right? Like that. I feel like yes, there's always this strive for more, but either way, literally the Ravens could be one in a whole lot, and which hopefully never happens. But the Ravens can be terrible. But at least you got the Steelers win, right? Can they stack from this? Is this sustainable? I don't know. But at least they beat the Steelers. All right, what is going on, good people? DJ here, Flock Nation Speaks. We are back once again. Ravens beat the Steelers. What was it? Was it 1914? Am I tripping? I think it was 1914, if I'm not mistaken. But the Ravens got the win on Sunday, and oh, not 19. 19 would be too much. 19 would be too. 16-14 against the Steelers in a very Ravens Steelers game from years past. It felt like crazy, not necessarily as much of a roller coaster, easy for me to say, of emotions that it usually is, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see, right? J.K. was back, Gus was back in the running game. I think they had was it like 218, somewhere close to 250 when it came to on the ground in a game when they needed the run game to be pretty excellent. We we've talked about this plenty of times over and over on this show. The Ravens going at this point in the game, they're gonna need that run game that they want that run game to be, right? Considering especially having Anthony Brown out there at quarterback after Tyler Huntley got hurt. And then even with Tyler Huntley to exhibit some balance, even with Lamar, so you got a little bit more of another offensive threat besides Lamar Jackson on the field. I think this was a good division win because this is one of those games. I think, considering how the Steelers have played this season, this is one of those games that flies under the radar because the Steelers are a pretty good defense, but because the Steelers aren't that good this year, this is a game that's going to fly under the radar. But this is easily a game you can get trapped into to where it's a big rivalry. You come out flat and you just don't win this game. And considering you're on your third string quarterback for most of this game, by hook or by crook, you got to win this game. And I think the Ravens did that. Now, kind of like the question of the video, is this sustainable for the playoffs? Is this sustainable for the rest of the season? Now, albeit like I think you're gonna be in and it might be like this for the playoffs too. You're gonna be in survive and advance mode, right? For a long time, for a couple weeks. Especially considering you playing with a backup quarterback, you playing with a third string quarterback. You just getting your horses back when it comes to the run game. You're gonna be in kind of survive and advance mode, right? Go ahead and beat the Falcons because I don't think Lamar's gonna come back before the Falcons game. Go ahead and beat the Falcons, beat the Steelers, beat the Browns. And then let's see what happens. Because here's the thing, right? In terms of this game, what was good, what was bad? The offense, you can say by the numbers and all that was bad, but the offense was expected to be bad because we know the talent that's on the offensive end. Plus, you take out Lamar Jackson. Plus, you take out Tyler Huntley, right? And you see this offense is going to struggle, especially until Lamar Jackson gets back because he can make that kind of game-breaking play. Until Lamar gets back, this offense is going to struggle. The defense played well. The defense turned them over 3 times. My key for later on as the season goes along is, can you turn these turnovers into points, right? Into 6 points. Because Marcus Williams is a pick magnet. He feels like he's going to get a pick every game he plays. He is a pick magnet. He just came back from injury, from the dislocated wrist, and he came back and got a pick first game back. Defensively, I think this defense is good. This defense scares me a little bit in the clutch, right? This defense scares me a little bit when you need them to be great, right? Marlon Humphrey didn't have his best game, but I think everywhere else was pretty decent, right? Everywhere else is pretty decent considering you playing a lot of talent. I think that's sometimes forgotten about with the Steelers, how much talent, especially they got at the wide receiver position with Deontay Johnson, George Pickens now, and I mean, I know they got Calvin Austin. I don't think he's playing much, but I know they got him too. But like they always got a lot of talent on the offensive end. So to see this team, this defense come out and play well, I think is big. Now, albeit that's the expectation. We've said it time and time again. The expectation is this defense is going to have to be all world great. They just are going to have to. And they're going to have to figure out a way to get teams off the field when it matters most. Because right now, especially over the next 2 weeks, probably, the offense is not going to be good. The offense will be better with Lamar Jackson, but they were still struggling to score even back then, right? Some of that's play calling, some of that's missing some throws, some of that's not having the running backs that you want to be able to run the scheme that you want to run. There's a lot of things that goes into it. But once again, the key to the Ravens being successful this week, next week, the week after, playoffs, is going to be utilizing that dominant run game and that efficient passing game, because that's the talent you got on the field right now. Even with Lamar Jackson, that's the talent you got on the field in terms of the wide receiver position, right? Being efficient throwing the football and being practically dominant running the ball. Now, here's the thing. JK looked good, and he ain't even 100% yet. So hopefully they still try to ease him back in. I think that probably was a little too much for JK, even coming back, but whatever. All right, he played well. Hopefully, he can stay on his feet, and it's going to be big for the next couple for the next couple of weeks and going into the playoffs. Because it's weird, it's weird because I don't know if we've seen this scheme in the playoffs, right? A lot of people are like, I don't know if this coaching staff can do it. I don't know if this scheme can do it. And I think about it, I don't know if we've truly seen this scheme in the playoffs. So tongue twister right there, right? Because every time the playoffs come, the Ravens go into this weird mode where they want to be different, right? They want to be not the same team they've been the whole season. And the issue with that is you've already proven you don't have the personnel to be this air raid team right now. So because you don't have the personnel to be this air raid team right now, why are you stepping away from what you know has worked for you in the past? The Ravens, a lot of times when it comes to the playoffs, and that's the thing, I'm not even as harsh as I think we've been on the wide receivers, and deservedly so. I don't think the personnel is the issue when it comes to the Ravens. When it comes to the Ravens in the playoffs, when it comes to the Ravens week to week right now, I think it's coaching. I really do. I think it's coaching and a little bit of his execution, which goes back to the players. But I think it's more coaching than anything. You're not putting guys in proper position to be successful. That's the biggest thing. Can the Ravens do that? That's going to be the big question. Good win against the Steelers, good division win, because of course, this is a win you need. You need to win both the games against the Steelers, which is tough to do. But this is a game you need, right? You need this one because the Bengals are creeping up on you and they're looking pretty decent, right? But at the same time, with the Bengals coming in week 18, right? I think you go in there, but still, with having the Bengals week 18, what that puts on your plate is you can get a really good win against the Bengals and catapult yourself going into the playoffs, no matter what seed you are. Because if you beat a good team in the Bengals in kind of not necessarily in a dominated fashion, but just we're the better team fashion, the Bengals are the most talented team you're going to play. They just are. They're the most talented team. They got the top running back out of all the other teams you're going to play, but with the exception of maybe Derrick Henry. They got the top receiving core by far, right? And they got a pretty good quarterback. And they got a pretty good defense, right? So if you can showcase that you can out-coach and outwork and beat the Bengals, that's going to be a big deal. So we'll see what happens. Because is it sustainable? I don't know. I don't know yet. It might be something I think about, come back to, slide another video in, because I don't know yet. But I think it is in a way, because I think we haven't seen what. It's funny because we don't get regular season Ravens in the playoffs. We get scared, timid, not utilizing our identity Ravens in the playoffs. We get the version of the Ravens that's like, wait, is this even the same team? Is this even the same scheme? Is the same dude calling plays? that's what we get in the playoffs. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But big win against the Steelers because this is one you got to have, right? The one against the Steelers. You really need all of these, right? Just because the Bengals are right there. But the one against the Steelers, the one against the Browns, the second one against the Steelers, and definitely the one against the Bengals. You need those. Now, are you going to really lose to the Falcons? I mean, considering how they played against the Panthers, okay. Consider how they played against the Jags, okay, maybe, right? But let's see, right? Let's see what happens. I think they can take care of business on that one, but we'll see what happens because, the NFL is so week to week, right? The NFL is so week to week. And what that means is because the NFL is so week to week, things can change on a dime, right? Dolphins have a couple bad weeks. Either they out of the playoffs, considering how they're playing right now, but that's probably the most. That's the portion of it that probably would actually happen, or they just don't have a lot of momentum going into the playoffs. The Bills have a couple of bad weeks. I don't think the Bills won't make the playoffs, even if they have a couple bad weeks, but they lose all that momentum they have. Chiefs, same way, because we've seen that nobody's dominant in this league right now, right? I think a lot of people feel like the AFC is wide open, and I feel the same way because nobody is dominant. Not necessarily that anybody. I mean, in the same way, anybody can beat anybody, right? Anybody can beat anybody, and we've seen it over and over and over again. And there's a lot of good teams in the AFC, so the AFC is wide open to me. Now, can the Ravens out-coach their way? Because that's pretty much what it's going to lean on is, execution, yes, and out-coaching their way, through a playoff run. We'll see, right? I might think about that one and come back again too. But as always, definitely hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Good win against the Steelers. Let's see what happens coming up on Saturday. Weird, right? On Saturday against the Browns. Probably no Lamar Jackson this week, so that'll be interesting to see. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed. Let's see what that defense does as well. Definitely hope you guys enjoyed. You can always listen or watch Fly Nation Speaks on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Watching wise, at least you can watch on Facebook and YouTube. So that takes care of all that. Definitely hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'll be back sometime with a preview for real this time because I'm not gonna get overwhelmed crazy about a week this time. You know what? I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be back. I promise you. Even if I gotta do a short version, I'm gonna be back with a preview of the Ravens Browns game because like I'm gonna blink and sometimes that happens, right? You blink and it's Saturday and here we are. It's game time. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys on the next one and. Definitely hope you guys enjoyed. What you think? What do you think about what are the Ravens going? What can the Ravens do to go on a run? Because I think that's what we're looking forward to more than anything is the playoffs, right? What can the Ravens do to go on a run? Is it nothing? Is it a lot? Is it a little bit? Right? Do they have the tools right now available? I don't know. I'm listening to you now. What do you think? We'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.